Hello, it's me, Brandy, your friendly neighborhood HMIS trainer. This training video is going to cover what kinds of data we are collecting from clients and expectations around that data collection. The first kind of data elements we're going to talk about are UDEs, or Universal Data Elements. HMIS Universal Data Element Collection is required by all projects using HMIS regardless of funding source. So these are elements that we gather for every client who enters into HMIS. The UDEs are used to produce unduplicated estimates of the number of people experiencing homelessness, services they're receiving, demographic information, and patterns of service use. And the first kind of universal data elements include name, social security number, date of birth, race, ethnicity, gender, and veteran status. The second category of universal data elements are universal project stay elements, which include disabling condition, project start date and exit date, destination, relationship to head of household, client location, housing move-in date, prior living situation. And the prior living situation is where the client was staying before they entered into your program. And whenever we cover data entry, we'll go more in depth into what each of these data elements are and how we enter them into HMIS. Another kind of data we are required to gather are program-specific data elements. These are additional data elements required by at least one of the HMIS federal partner programs. They can include income, non-cash benefits, health insurance, disabilities, domestic violence, current living situation, date of engagement, bed night date, and coordinated entry assessment. And the last type of data elements we'll discuss are metadata elements, which simply put is data about data. So metadata elements are information about the data itself rather than about clients served or programs. So these include when the data was collected, when it was entered into HMIS, who entered the data, what project it was for. These elements are used to facilitate reporting and to provide an audit trail. When entering data, we want to make sure that the data we enter is complete, timely, and accurate, and we're going to talk about each of these in the context of our data collection and expectations around completeness, timeliness, and accuracy, what that means for our COC. For accuracy, we want to enter what the client tells us. Whatever the client tells us their name is, or their race is, or any answers to our questions, that is what we put into HMIS, and that connects back to client self-determination. Additionally, we want to correct any past data that we know is no longer true, like updating contact information, disabilities, income, as a couple examples, but really important to update any data that we know needs to be corrected. Around timeliness, the requirement for our COC is that we enter all client data within 5 business days from that client interaction. The reason timeliness is important is because we want to make sure that all data is pulled into reports and that we have up-to-date data in HMIS. So an example is that, let's say we have a client, they have an increase in income in the last week of February, and your program manager is running a report at the end of that month, and maybe you leave for PTO or are overloaded with work, and that increase in income is not entered. So then it's not pulled into that report that the program manager is running, and it's not captured. So we just want to make sure that the most current data is pulled into those reports and entered into HMIS. Missing and null data. Ideally, we want to enter full data if the client feels comfortable answering data questions. When we start training on data entry and you're in the training site, you'll be able to visualize this a lot better. But beneath some data elements in HMIS, there is a drop-down beneath those data elements that says full data, don't know, refused, or data not collected. And whenever possible, of course, we want to enter full data and choose full data from that drop-down. But if a client doesn't know or refuses to answer a question, we would choose one of those. We want to make sure we avoid data not collected because that indicates that the question was not asked at all. And that concludes the data quality training video. As always, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions to our help desk. Thank you.